as we left off in the StreamYard, if you guys want to jump up on the panel, you can. Give me about maybe 5-10 minutes, and then we'll get to it. Because a lot of people, and we had a good dialogue yesterday about that too. It's good points being made, but my understanding is this, right? If we talk about reparations, restoration, restitution, all these different things, then we really have to you got to look at the fine details on how to make the claim. So depending on what you are, and I said this a couple shows back, is that you got to know what you can claim here in America for reparations and restoration and restitution, right? If you know the dictionary by the Black's Law Dictionary and then the legal definitions of repair and restore, we look at our basic fundamental bare root of these words of reparations and restoration is repair and restore. So if we need things to be repaired and restored, then under the circumstances, you have to be a real party in interest. Anytime you're bringing a claim in any court, tribunal, or otherwise, you must be the real party in interest. And there had to be some type of injury, breach of contract, breach of trust in those realms. Now, in order to, if you're claiming, and this is no disrespect to anybody that follow up under these different these movements, American descendants of slaves, American descendants of slaves, foundational Black American, Pan-Africanism, any other type of thing that is connected in those realms, you're falling up under colorable titles that have no remedy in America. Now, if you're claiming yourself to be a descendant of a slave, let's start with ADOS, a American descendant of slaves. It was changed. It was African descendants of slaves. That's what it was called first. But then once the movement started shifting along, and then the Indian conversation came in and melanated people being actually here, Aboriginals, indigenous to America, they changed it to American. And foundational Black American is actually something that derived from ADOS based on what I heard and what I saw. Could be, could not be. There's other people saying that foundational Black America been around. Neither here or there. Let's break down foundation, right? Let's do it like this. Let's do it like this. We're gonna break down foundation, and then we're gonna break down Black, because foundation is the root for foundation O, right? You got foundation with an AL at the end. It's going to say resort to foundation. Okay, so foundation meaning in law. Okay, so we're going to get to that, but now let's continue with what we're dealing with ADOS, foundational Black American. If you're considered to be a descendant of a slave, then and you're an American, what form of American are you talking about? Is it an American as you're American now under the United States Constitution? Are you an American pre-United States and pre-Continental Congress, or even during the Continental Congress? Are you American pre-colonies or with the colonies and the British Empire that they were subject to? This is where it gets technical. You see what I'm saying? So if that's the case, then we got to figure out what we really got going on here in your claim. An American descendant of a slave. Make that make sense to me. Somebody come up here and convince me that you can actually make a valid claim being an American descendant of a slave. Now, here's my presentation. Here's my presentation to you. This is why I say you can't make that claim, because you're going to have to prove that that your forefathers, and we're not going to use ancestors, your forefathers and foremothers were actually slaves. Then you got to give me the definition of a slave. Now, are you talking about voluntary or involuntary servitude? Are you talking about enslavement? Meaning, was it voluntary? Did you volunteer to be a part of this, to be under some type of indenture contract? Now, the indenture contract was what? Voluntary or voluntary? Was it forced upon you? Or did you accept that? Did you pledge allegiance to that? You see what I'm saying? This is where it's going to get a little dicey. If you don't understand that portion of it, then how can you prove you were a slave? Okay, now, being that you're a descendant of slaves, that means everybody in your family was slaves. You have no history outside of being a slave. You're going to have to prove that too. It's going to be difficult. It's going to be quite difficult to be able to prove that. Peace to you, big dog, Philly, everybody here, Copper Draco, American Isness, King Chameleon. I don't know which one is you, Get Back. So I think that's original. Oh, Hope They Prayed or something like that. Yep. Nate, what's going on? Yeah, Richie Rich. But this is your ADOS, right? American descendant of slaves. All right. So where's your claim? What is to be repaired and what is to be restored? I want you guys to listen to me clearly. What's going on, Nutty? You got to listen to me clearly. What is to be repaired? What is to be restored if you are historically in your bloodline slaves? That means you have nothing. You have nothing to be repaired. You pretty much have no name. You pretty much was born on a boat or on a damn plantation from the soil or something. Your name is nothing but your master's name. Your children is probably the children of your master. So they don't belong to you. So this is what we're talking about here. Now, so I would like to see if somebody can make that claim for me. Now, let's talk about foundational Black American. Okay, so let me share my screen. Now, right here, this is actually this is what I asked, foundation, meaning, and law. It's a quick one. You know, I don't want to have to go all the way to bring up my Black's Law. But let's deal with the surface thing right now. A legal foundation refers to the essential principles, statutes, or constitutional framework that support and justify a specific law, action, or entity. It constitutes the underlying basis for rights, and in evidence law represents the necessary justification, foundation for admitting evidence. It also refers to a distinct legal entity / structure created for nonprofit purposes. So we can leave that last part off, right? That's like a youth foundation or something like that, right? But foundation means that you have to provide some evidence that you are the foundation of America. Now, let's look up black meaning in law. This is the first thing comes up. In the United States. Now, don't overstep that one. In the United States, the legal definition of black or African American generally refers to a person having origins in any of the black racial groups of Africa, including individuals who identify as African American, Kenyan, Nigerian, or Haitian. It denotes a racial classification often used for census and civil rights purposes, rather than strictly in ethnicity. Definition is codified right here. 28 CFR 42.402 defines black as a person having origins in any of the black racial groups of Africa. How can you get reparations? How can you get restoration? How can you be repaired and restored in America? And where does the United States have any jurisdiction to provide you anything? Now, this is actually making me have to bring up my Black's Law. So I'm gonna have to bring this up so we could go back over repair. And I told you I was gonna be redundant. But if you're a foundational Black American, that means your foundation, you're saying your foundation is in Black America. Foundation, Black American. So that means that your foundation is in one of these places, and you are eventually now became an American over time because you were freed or liberated during the Civil War. That's the story. Emancipation Proclamation or Emancipation Proclamation. That's a tongue twister. But this is what I'm saying. You're going to have to prove that. You cannot, look, the only thing you could do under these circumstances is get any type of civil rights remedies. Civil. In the United States. People say, well, the United States and America are the same thing. No, they're not. No, they're not. Now, let's do this real quick. I got to do it. I got to do it. But let me pull up my Black's Law Dictionary real quick. Let me pull this up. Because I think a lot of people are not understanding the whole basis of making a claim. I think a lot of people just want to just talk about it and really not get anything done. Hold on. Where is it at? Where is it at? Okay, here we go. Black's Law 4th, right here. All right, what we're going to do is we're going to come up here and we're going to try to figure this thing out. What is the basic understanding of what repair and restore is? And we ain't talking about restoration and all that and reparations, no, because I'm going to show you that those things have a very small paragraph. Let's talk about repair. All right, here we go. Let me just bring up the whole screen. Entire screen. All right, here it is right here. All right. So repair, to mend, remedy, restore, renovate, to restore to a sound or good state after decay, injury, dilapidation, or partial destruction. That sounds like property to me. It sounds like real property, real estate, land, documents, identification. You know, those things tie into place. Now, down here, it talks about the word repair contemplates an existing structure or thing which has become imperfect and means to supply in the original existing structure that which is lost or destroyed, and thereby restore it to the condition in which it originally existed as near as may be. All right. So if that's the case, you have to have something, a foundational black, and we can leave out American at this time because foundational and black goes first. So if you foundational black and how the United States defines that to be, and it's been codified, that means it's passed legislation, went to the Supreme Court, and has been ruled upon. It is there. Under the circumstances. Now, if you're over somewhere else where you can get to that part, then you might have something. But if you're under those structures, if you're under those titles and you claim that to be you because you're expressing that, that's your claim. I'm foundational Black American. I'm an American descendant of a slave. I'm listening to something in my ear. But when you get if you base it off that and they're saying, well, you got to give us a little bit more than that, you're looking in the wrong place. So you have nothing based on this definition right here. You have no existing structure, original existing structure. The only original existing structure is something that has been that existed before they got here, before the United States was established, even the 13 colonies and even the Continental Congress. Has to be something that was already established. And a foundational Black American and an American descendant of a slave and a Pan-African has no claim for any reparations. Sorry, but I'm not sorry. We're going to spell this out. All right? I'm listening. What you, Kate? what you say can be held against you, right? So when we get into the point of understanding how to make the claim for reparations, we gotta establish a foundation, right? A foundation that we can stand on that can't be moved. So in order to understand the technicalities on it, let me get back to sharing my screen on this. When we get back to the technicalities on it, we got to know how to bring this claim. You know, here we go. Right. So if you see right here, reparation, this is where we left off at. Reparation, the redress of an injury, amends for a wrong inflicted. All right. So if you want to deal with the West African slave trade, guess what happened? Africans sent their people on ships in collusion with the British, Portuguese, Spanish, and the French and the Dutch and all that type of stuff. That is the story. You dig? That's the story. So if that's the story, then who should you be going for reparations restitution? I mean, they actually giving y'all dual citizenship. They saying y'all can come back. So go back. Go get your money. Go do the things that you need to do, and bam, you good. The United States really has no claim, because depending on when the slave trade happened, because they talk about the 1619 project, then you got the 1592 thing, or the 1540 something thing. You got the 1492 thing when people was coming over here as well. But we know those people that came over here with after 1492 were not Africans. They were something else, or it was a conglomeration of different people coming from an empire. So they had something that they lost. One was the war. And they were given an opportunity to do three things: leave on your own, stay and convert, or die. Those were their options. All right. Now I put my camera on because I want you to see that I'm serious. This is the only thing that we got to understand in regards to how we're going to claim the reparations. If you're going by that story, you have no remedy here on this land, because the United States at that time had no money, no possession, no military, didn't own anything. Everything they did was subject to the British Crown. So there we go. I'm just saying. Now, as I said before, if you foundational Black American, let's go back over here. Let's go back over here. All right. So let's find restitution. Let's go down real quick. Let's go down. Let's find restore. Let's go to restitution here. All right. So you got plenty of things right here, right? You have restitution. Okay, act of restoring. Okay, see, there is your foundation right there. I guess foundation is the word for the day. Act of restoring, restoration of anything to its rightful owner. To its rightful owner. If you're an African that was brought on a slave ship, here, no name changed, everything erased, history, language, everything changed. What does the United States have to do with that? They had nothing to do with that. What they did is they brought you over here, put you up, clothed you, put you to work, gave you a new name, gave you another language. Didn't wipe you all the way out if you're claiming that, because you're still here. You're saying that you're a descendant of a slave. And you're a foundational Black American. So you're still here. That means your ancestors or your forefathers or foremothers survived the slavery, became good and straight, got land, did all the things they needed to do, got emancipated, was free and liberal and liberated, and you good. So within the United States, you got your restitution, you got your reparations. There really is no restitution to have in that sense, because you were supposed to have given 40 acres and a mule. But if they reneged on the 40 acres and a mule after you were emancipated, let's say they took it back, you're gonna have to prove that. I know they say, yeah, sharecropping, all these different types of things. Nope. That didn't work either. So you got to be to its rightful owner, though. Let's stick to this rightful owner. If you're the rightful owner, that means you had to own something. I hate to sound like I'm trying to be sarcastic about it, but you had to own something. If you were a slave and you was brought over here on a slave ship, you didn't own nothing. But even with the 40 acre and a mule, you didn't even own that. You were a tenant. You were given something by the United States. And you had to work, till the land, grow something, pay taxes, fully participate. Now, the second part of that, it says the act of making good or giving equivalent for any loss, damage, or injury. So you see where restitution is falling in line with that definition I gave you of repair. Okay. So here are some of the categories. You have equity, restoration of both parties to their original condition when practicable upon the rescission of a contract for fraud or similar cause. If you're an American descendant of a slave, where's your contract? You had none, unless you were an indentured servant and you came over here voluntarily. Then you were under an indentured contract that was for 7 to 12 years. And let's say they then breached that contract where your people actually went to court for, and then you had to get a remedy, like they talk about old boy Andrew something, or get his name. So under the circumstances, yeah, you got something there. Maritime law, the placing back or restoring articles which have been lost by justice. This is done when remainder of the cargo has been saved at the general charge of the owners of the cargo. Does not apply there. Practice, the return of something to the owner of it or to the person entitled to it upon the reversal or setting aside of the judgment or order of court under which it was taken from him. No. ADOS, FBA, no, still no. If, after money has been levied under a writ of execution, the judgment be reversed by a writ of error. All right. Now, what do we have? What else we got here? Okay, nope. Okay, so no. Where's restore at? Where is it at? Where is it at? Okay, so it's not there. Restore, O-R. Rested. All right, so it's not there. All right, so let's go to remedy. Let's go to remedy. because we gotta understand what a remedy. We gotta understand this, and trust me, I don't mean to be facetious. I'm just giving it the way it's spelled out. We can't go outside of what the law like to say. You can't go outside the four corners of the of your claim. You can't say that I'm black, but then black means this, and then you're saying that you're an American. That how and when and where. So when you became an American, you became liberated. You became liberated. You became free, emancipated. You can't. That is freedom. There you go. So that's what time you have to be on. Okay. So let me get to remedy. Remedy. Okay. Remedy. The means by which a right is enforced or the violation of a right is prevented, redressed, or compensated. Remedies are of four kinds: by act of the party injured, the principle of which are defense, recaption, distress, entry, abatement, and seizure; by operation of law, as in the case of retainer or remitter; by agreement between the parties, by accord and satisfaction and arbitration; and by judicial remedy, action or suit. That's what a remedy is. So we're getting back to this. Now, let's see if we can find one thing. Let's see if we can find black in here. All right. Now, this is Black's Law 4th. Let's see if we can find black. Black acre and white acre. Fictitious names used by the old writers to distinguish one parcel of land from another, to avoid ambiguity as well as the inconvenience of a fuller description. Black Act. The statute 9 GEO, let's say that's Georgia IC 22, so called because it was occasioned by the outrages committed by persons with their faces blacked or otherwise disguised, who appeared in Epping Forest near Waltham in Essex. Essex. Where is that at? I don't think that's America. Black Acts. Old Scotch statutes passed in the reigns of the Stuarts. Uh-oh. And down to the year 1586 or 1587, so called because printed in black letter. Black Book of Hereford. In English law, an old record frequently referred to by Colwell and other early writers. Black Book of the Admiralty, a book of the highest authority in Admiralty matters, generally supposed to have been compiled during the reign of Edward III. Still not in America. Black Book of the Exchequer, the name of an ancient book kept in the English Exchequer containing a collection of treaties, conventions, charters. Still not in America. Black Cap, the headdress worn by the judge in pronouncing the sentence of death. Black Code, a name given collectively to the body of laws, statutes, and rules in force in various southern states prior to 1865, which regulated the institution of slavery, and particularly those forbidding their reception at public inns and on public conveyances. This is about as close as we done got so far. But let's read this closely. A name given collectively to the body of laws, statutes, and rules in force in various southern states prior to 1865, which regulated the institution of slavery, and particularly those forbidding their reception at public inns and on public conveyances. And it says civil rights cases. But it doesn't mention a people specifically. It just says black code, black game, black liquor. A term used in the paper pulp industry denotes a residual liquor coming from the digesters. Black Maria, a closed wagon or van. Black Matt Cabaretta, a cross between a goat skin and the skin of some other animal. Black Muslim, an organization of American Negroes, founded in Detroit in 1930 by an American Negro called himself Muhammad Elijah. To the traditional Quran, the founders added the doctrine of black supremacy and proclaimed the desirability of maintaining or regaining the purity of the black race. Okay, we got something here. Black rents, an old English law, not in America. Rents reserved in work grain provisions or baser money than silver, in contradistinction to those which reserved in white money or silver. So white money is silver, which were termed white rents. Black rents is rents reserved in work, grain, provisions, or baser money. That's black. Look at all these blacks here. You see what I'm saying? And I think we're getting somewhere here. I'm just trying to show you where we actually are having some of these misunderstandings and what we consider to be black. All right. I think y'all looked at me enough. So let's get back over here. So, but black here says this. But if you look at the Black's Law Dictionary, it did not give this definition. You did not find this definition anywhere. Even it had black Muslims in Black's Law Fourth. They had black Muslims in Black's Law Fourth. But they did not have this in there. They didn't have black by itself, black. A person have origins in any of the black racial groups of Africa. Not there. But it's codified. All right. So historical context, historically, U.S. legal definitions, particularly under the one-drop rule, common around the early 20th century, classify any person with any known African ancestry as black. Okay, but you got an FBA with a flag talking about 15 something. You got people, Pan-Africanists, using the black stuff going back to the slave trade. They're intertwining African-American, black, and African and American and all that. That's bad gumbo with slimy okra in it. if you're gonna be able to make this make sense, then you got to make it make sense. This is where the claim goes everywhere, and they're sitting back laughing at us, talking about y'all don't even know what the hell y'all talking about. You don't know what you want. You guys will never figure it out. And if you guys get close to figuring out, all we gotta do is look at you a certain type of way, and you'll bend over. You'll back up. So if this is 20th century, then what do you have in history? What do you have if you're only speaking about 20th century language? You can't talk about the 1800s, the 17, 16, 15, 14. You damn sure can't talk about what they call that, pre-contact. Can't talk about that. Not at all. All right? So look, distinction from African American, while often used interchangeably, Black is sometimes considered broader, covering people of African descent from various regions, while African American specifically denotes descendants of enslaved people in the United States. There you go. So African American makes you an enslaved descendant. So you can't say American descendant of a slave. You got to say African American descendant of a slave, because they have not yet in this situation used American and slave in the same sentence. You have to attach that African on top of it. If you don't attach that African on it, you ain't got a slave. You have owners. You have product, you have commodities, you have resources, you have a claim. All right. We're gonna go back to my little makeshift chat I did yesterday. Where that? Where it go? There you go. All right. So right here, let's start from the trust doctrine. Okay. So we talk about these doctrines. Let's start with the doctrine of discovery. We're going to start with doctrine of discovery. It's one of the most influential and controversial legal doctrines in the history of property law, sovereignty, and indigenous rights. It is the doctrine that U.S. courts use to explain how European nations claim legal title to lands already occupied by indigenous peoples. Let's break it down clearly. The doctrine of discovery. Definition. The doctrine of discovery is the legal principle that European Christian nations gain sovereign rights over lands they discovered, even if those lands were already inhabited by indigenous peoples. Now, if you was here yesterday, I showed you, and in the presentation that I made back in January, that the indigenous people had nations over here. And then earlier in the presentation, and had valid treaties. And earlier in the presentation, what I did yesterday, it showed that the treaties that the indigenous people made here in America were still based on ancient ways of doing things. That's a handshake. The chief or the emperor, the king, or whatever you want to call him at that time, surrounded by his 12 apostles, if I can use that term, came up with witnesses as they did and shook that man's hand and said, we got a deal. This is what you put on paper. We read it. Here's the proposal. And then we come back to just like I showed in the Treaty of New York. So if that was the case, it was done the exact same way. It wasn't corporate in structure as we know today. There's two different things, right? So under this doctrine, the indigenous nations retain occupancy rights. European powers obtain ultimate title to the land. This is what the doctrine is saying now. So if you're an occupant, you're the tenant. This principle later became embedded in U.S. property law. This is where you get into your fee simple and all these different titles, colorable titles. Historical origins. The doctrine originated from a series of 15th century papal decrees that authorized European monarchs to claim lands outside of Christian Europe. Papal bulls. 3 key papal documents are often cited. Dum Diversas, authorized Christian rulers to subdue non-Christian peoples. Romanus Pontificatus, Romanus Pontifex, granted Portugal rights over lands discovered in Africa. Inter Caetera, authorized Spain to claim newly discovered lands in the Americas. These documents form the religious and political foundation for European colonial expansion. How the doctrine entered U.S. law. The doctrine was formally adopted in American law in the landmark Supreme Court case, Johnson versus McIntosh. Now, you guys can look that up. We can pull that up real quick. And that's it, right? Well, I hit that link. It went to another thing, but you guys can look that up. That'll be get me away from the topic. What the Supreme Court said. Chief Justice John Marshall wrote the decision. The court held that European discovery gave exclusive title to the discovery nation. Indigenous peoples retained a right of occupancy only. Only the federal government could purchase land from tribes. Marshall wrote that discovery gave European nations the exclusive right to extinguish the Indian title of occupancy. This ruling became the foundation of U.S. land law. What the doctrine actually did, it created a 3-tier system of land rights. European/U.S. government, ultimate title, indigenous tribes, right of occupancy, private individuals must buy from government. This meant tribes could not sell land directly to private parties. While the doctrine is controversial, many scholars argue the doctrine relied on religious justification for colonial expansion, ignored existing indigenous sovereignty, created legal justification for land dispossession. In recent years, international bodies have criticized the doctrine. The United Nations have referenced the doctrine when discussing indigenous rights under the United Nations Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous People, or UNDRIP. Several churches have also formally repudiated the doctrine. Okay? So the big historical reality, and I'm reading this right along with you guys. I haven't even read through it. I just asked the questions and had it feeded. Indigenous nations controlled their lands fully. After the doctrine of discovery, European powers claimed sovereignty and ultimate title. But look, listen. If you look at it from that perspective, this is what they're saying. It's a doctrine of discovery. And amongst them, they're making their own self-proclamation or self-proclamation, their own declaration of what there is. It's like self-identifying as something amongst themselves, because obviously they didn't do it around us. They didn't do it around the indigenous people. Had no idea what was going on at that time because there were treaties. But even then, if we look at the maps as they were, the 13 colonies were still by the water. They was nowhere in the interior. So, all right. So let's get there. Okay. So now let's deal with the trust doctrine. The trust doctrine is another core principle of U.S. federal Indian law. It explains the legal relationship between the United States government and indigenous tribe, together with the doctrine of discovery and plenary power doctrine. It forms the backbone of the legal framework governing tribal federal relations. This plenary power doctrine is something else. And just know that these are doctrines, and we're going to check out what a doctrine is. The trust doctrine holds that the United States government has a fiduciary responsibility. Remember, I showed you in Black's Law the definition of what a donor is and what a donee is. Right? You got the O's and the E's. You got donor, trustor, grantor, settlor, creator. You have donee, trustee. Oh, you also got bailor, bailee, grantee. Okay? Those people are the ones that are given power, right? These E's are the one that's been given power to do something, to exercise on behalf of the other. The person that actually, or the entity, or the nation that is actually they didn't tell me they was leaving, huh? That's actually doing these things are the ones that's going to do it, have them work for the benefit of the beneficiaries, their descendants. So just like I showed in the Treaty of New York, it says that George Washington proposed to them is this is what we're going to do. We're going to utilize our United States citizens to conduct trade and commerce for the Creek and the Seminoles. So if you understand trust law, right, and this trust doctrine, then this is what needs to be understood first. We can't say this is what it is and then say, well, that just gave them power. No, not power to do what they want. Okay. So the trust doctrine holds that the United States government has a fiduciary responsibility to protect tribal lands, resources, and self-government for the benefit of indigenous tribes. That's plain black letter law. All right. In legal terms, the U.S. acts as a trustee, while tribes are the beneficiaries of that trust relationship, like I said. The doctrine developed through Supreme Court decisions interpreting treaties and federal statutes. This is where you got your issues based on these people interpreting these things to fit them. Historical origin of the doctrine. John Marshall again. Cherokee Nations versus Georgia. Marshall described tribes as domestic dependent nations. He also said their relationship to the United States resembled that of a ward to his guardian. See, right there, issues. This phrase laid the foundation for the guardian-ward trust relationship. How the trust doctrine works. Under the doctrine, the federal government has obligations similar to a fiduciary trustee. These responsibilities include protection of tribal lands. Many reservations are held as trust lands. Now, these reservations are what? People think those reservations are where these natives are at. Those aren't reservations. Reservations are your national force. They're protecting those things. And they had to do it because their own people that was coming over here, these criminals that was doing what they want to do was killing the animals, tearing down the trees. They was about to make this place a desolate land. And pretty much Teddy Roosevelt was the one that started getting these national forests going, if I'm not mistaken, because he had to preserve that. He actually was doing his fiduciary duty to protect tribal land. So protection of tribal resources. This includes minerals, timber, water rights, hunting and fishing rights. Just as I said. Remember, I'm reading this for the first time like you. Protection of tribal self-government. The U.S. must respect tribal authority over internal governments. The case that strengthened the doctrine, United States versus Mitchell, court ruled that when federal statutes give the government control over tribal resources, the government assumes fiduciary duties similar to those of a private trustee. Trust land system. Today, millions of acres of land are held in trust by the federal government for tribes. This system means tribes have beneficial ownership. Remember, I was talking about that yesterday. If I know that I'm a beneficial owner to something, yeah, I'm signing that contract because I got to get my rent. I got to get my residuals. You can go ahead and keep doing that. Go ahead. Y'all went just buck wild crazy, so you could just do the work yourself. Okay, well, go ahead, drill that oil. Go ahead, get in those mines, get those minerals, do all the planting and everything. We'll go up into the city, kick back, kick our feet up, and get our residuals. That's the part that's being left out. They're not paying. All right. Trust lands cannot usually be sold or transferred without federal approval. So that means they have to ask for permission. This is where things get tricky. Connection to treaties. Many tribal treaties promise that the United States will protect tribal lands, protect tribal sovereignty, act as a guardian of tribal interests. You guys got to know that these are strong words right here. This is what the United States said they would do. This is the Treaty of New York. This is Treaty of Fort. These are all the treaties that were set up by that time when the United States said, hey, do business with us. Don't do business with them anymore. Don't do business with the British Crown or whoever these people were that they say they were. Do business with us. Help us formulate our own government, our own system, so that way we could probably do business. We're here. We've been here for a long time. We show that we work. We've been paying. We want to partner with you. We want to cut them out. That's the middleman. They were the middleman. The middleman now is cutting their boss out, and they want to work for somebody else. They want to do business with somebody else. That's just in a nutshell, plain language. The trust doctrine developed partly as a way courts interpreted these treaty obligations. Major criticism. While the doctrine promises protection, it also has been criticized. Critics argue that it justified federal control over tribal affairs, limited tribal sovereignty, it created paternalistic policies. Now, here we go. Now, the other two, that is how they was able to freak it. I don't even think it limited anything. It was just giving them more opportunity to go ahead and make it up as they go and manipulate the situation behind our backs, because at that point in time, we said, okay, you guys are doing good business. Hey, we don't need to watch you. But then we still had our Indian agents on them, or we had our neutral parties, which was these Indian agents that eventually got greedy. Now, this is the key right here. This confirms that it was a maternalistic way of doing things. Because if you're talking about it created paternalistic policies, then that means the policies before were all maternalistic or matrilineal. So here you go. That's how you look at that line right there. It's not what it actually is. It's about what it was prior to that. So this is what we're showing prior to what we see today, what was actually going on then and how it was actually being done. This is where you set your foundation in order to make your claim. I'm showing you definition, doctrine titles, case law, examples, dates, times, real parties, actually parties and interests, players, all right? So for much of U.S. history, federal agencies mismanaged tribal trust assets. Now, this is not me talking. You see, as I saw my question was simple. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about that. Now, I make sure it does a deep dive and deep research and just don't give me no surface, but this is what it's giving you. One famous example involved massive financial management of tribal trust accounts. One famous example involved massive financial mismanagement of tribal trust accounts, leading to litigation such as Cobell versus Salazar. Another case law. So it's just about as simple that the United States got sloppy. They got greedy. Or they started people coming in, just like you have certain people come in to the United States with their own private interests, lobbyists, for an example, foreigners. Yeah. People taking backdoor deals. But here's a case law. All right. So we don't need to worry about the monaural right now. But it says right here, courts continue to interpret how far the government's fiduciary obligations extend. But you see, they're still interpreting it. So it's getting further and further away from us. You see what I'm saying? It's getting further away. So it says, key idea. The trust doctrine means the United States has a legal duty, not just political discretion, to protect tribal interests. But the same doctrine also allowed the government to exercise extensive control over tribal lands and affairs, creating an ongoing debate about sovereignty and self-determination. All right. Now, under the circumstances, we're about to look up. I'm going to read you this. This definition. I'm going to read you this definition here. It's under American jurisprudence. It's called fiduciary responsibility. Now, we know about American jurisprudence, right? We got to do it because you guys really got to see how it fits. Okay, this is how it fits. Because when you look at the whole circumstances of what we see today, people got to understand what a fiduciary responsibility is. You gotta appreciate everybody still being around. All right. Now, this right here is American jurisprudence, public officers and employees. Now, this is just dealing with public officers and employees. And if people understand what employee is, like I've been showing the definition of an employee, an employee is equal to a citizen, a United States citizen, and an elected official, i.e., your three branches. Now, it says, as expressed otherwise, The powers delegated to a public officer are held in trust for the people and are to be exercised in behalf of the government or of all citizens who may need the intervention of the officer. If you see right here, just what I just finished reading. If you see right here, it says government or citizens. So you know what the or is, right? Furthermore, the view has been expressed that all public officers within whatever branch and whatever level of government and whatever be their private vocations are trustees of the people and accordingly labor under every disability and prohibition imposed by the law on trustees relative to the making of personal financial gain from a discharge of their trust. I just showed in the trust doctrine and everything I just showed, this right here. So who are the people? Because there's no reference of a people in any part of that Constitution. In the Declaration of Independence, they say we the people. So under those circumstances, then we know that what we have right here is a misunderstanding of what applies where. Now, we'll take that as just this being what it is. Let's say this is United States and this is American jurisprudence. This is the Americans drafting this jurisprudence document along with corpus juris secundum with instructions to these officers and these public officials on how to conduct themselves in every form of fashion of the government and of business on this American continent. All right. So right here, that is a public officer occupies a fiduciary relationship to the political entity on whose behalf he or she serves and owes a fiduciary duty to the public. It has been said that the fiduciary responsibilities of a public officer cannot be less than those of a private individual. And if you remember in that trust document I was reading, it was saying as private as well. Private is also included. Furthermore, it has been stated that any enterprise undertaken by the public official which tends to weaken the public confidence and undermine the sense of security for individual rights is against public policy. Now, here's some examples. Now, you guys got to listen to this closely, especially those that like to delve into this, right? This is how you got to understand what this is all about. What you just read said every fiduciary responsibility okay? This is public officers and employees. That means all. Fraud in its common law sense of deceit, and this is one of the meanings that fraud bears in the statute. See United States versus Dow. Includes the concealment of material information in a setting of a fiduciary obligation. A public official is a fiduciary toward the public, including in the case of a judge, litigants who appear before him. And if he deliberately conceals material information from them, he is guilty of fraud. Now, if we're dealing with this issue of breach of fiduciary duty, if we are right here, key idea, the trust doctrine means the United States has a legal duty to protect tribal interests. And we're going to go right back up here. We're going right back up here. right? Definition, the trust doctrine, definition, holds that the United States government has a fiduciary responsibility to protect tribal lands, resources, and self-government for the benefit of indigenous tribes. Do we think we have a breach of that fiduciary responsibility? Everybody in the chat, say aye. Anybody else in the chat, say nay. If you think, based on this definition, based on what I read by what a fiduciary responsibility, how it's defined by public officials, public officers, and employees, and in this example, excuse me, the government. So anybody in the chat, if you agree that we might have a claim here on breach of fiduciary duty under the trust doctrine. In legal terms, the U.S. acts as a trustee while tribes are the beneficiaries of that trust relationship. This doctrine, through Supreme Court decisions interpreting treaties, this doctrine developed through Supreme Court decisions interpreting treaties and federal statutes. Now you see it says treaties. Okay, so what does these treaties do? They created a trust where the United States agreed, because George Washington agreed and proposed to execute the powers. Now let's get back to the other thing. I'm gonna bring this up again so you guys get this, because I'm giving you ancient, but I'm bringing it to the present day so you guys understand what these words, because you guys know what these words mean. These words are old, but they're still relevant today. Everybody know what a trust is. Everybody know what a doctrine is. Everybody know what a trustee is. Not everybody knows what a fiduciary is, but you know now it's a trustee. So under the circumstances, and then after I show this, we'll take a quick break. And I apologize for what I did. I had a meeting in one ear, and I had I had another client come up in here. I was, boy, it was one of them days. All right. Donor. Right here. Donor. The party conferring a power. Now, keep all this in mind, what we just read, the trust doctrine. Right? Fiduciary responsibility, the definition that it gave us. The party conferring a power. The one who makes a gift. You don't take that gift lightly. Remember, gift and seed, C-E-D-E. Take those as similar. One who creates a trust. One who gives lands or tenements to another, entail. Now, entail means that it's like you're renting. Who gives lands, right? Gift, give. Seed. To do what? Business, right? To execute that power. Now let's go to donee of power. The person to whom the settlor, so now we know the donor is the settlor because you just created a trust. The settlor or donor of a power of appointment. So we see that the donor appointed the donee, giving them power. So that means the indigenous nations gave the United States power to do something, appointed them to do it. So that donor of a power of appointment gives such power to be exercised And if you see, I read right here in fiduciary responsibility, it says right here, as expressed otherwise, the powers delegated to a public officer are held in trust for the people and are to be exercised. Okay. Now, let's go up here. Donee. One to whom a gift is made or a bequest given. Everybody know what a bequest is. One who is invested with a power of appointment. Invested. So I made indigenous people, they're investing something in the United States government, or really those officers within the United States government that are speaking like George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, and all Ben Frank, all of them people. All right. The party executing a power. Remember, exercise, execute. Executing a power, otherwise called the appointer. That's the one being appointed. So same thing, he to whom lands or tenements are given entail. So here's our relationship, guys and gals. Who has a claim here? Who has a claim here? So this is the definition. This is how we got to make the claim. If there's a claim to be made. Now, I'm just giving some examples, right? If you're going to claim ADOS, FBA, you got to make that thing stick. You got to actually show where the reclassification was done intentionally in order to take you off your land. You got to actually show that you were actually taken from the indigenous tribal land to the United States as a prisoner. You're going to have to show that. But if you know that you're an American Indian and you can attach yourself to that, it's okay that it's on the SS5 because it's also on the SF-181, which shows that American Indian is one that has their origins in America. All right. So I'm going to take a couple minutes. My phone blowing the F up. Let's put something on real quick. I'm just going to play that Nas. I love that Nas. That album is banging. I don't get strike on it anyway, because as soon as it's over, I cut it off. I mean, I delete it from the whole, like if you look at those videos, you won't even see those things on there. So yeah. Let's put on my boy King Chameleon first. Oh no, I took him off. Hold on, y'all. Took them things off. Yeah, man. Hopefully liking everything. Hope you guys liking the presentation. If you're not, so what? No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, I'm not here trying to, make anybody feel uncomfortable or angry. I just want you guys to take it from another perspective so we can kind of, we got to be able to check all traps and cover all angles. That's the way I look at it. Got to check all angles, make sure that we got everything under control. You know what I'm saying? The Constitution, the Bill of Rights, the Civil Rights Acts, and I would say these Civil Rights Acts of the 60s, 64, 65, 66, 68. Like in California, they had the Prop 187, under Pete Wilson, where he kind of killed affirmative action. And those things were tied into the Indian Civil Rights Act. But the other thing that needs to be done, it needs to be a clear distinction. What a native is and what an Indian is. Right? So people say, well, Indian is somebody that's not indigenous to this land. Well, the both of those words start off with IND, and it's actually engine. So if you take two, they're one and the same. Engine. You take the vowel out, you got engine. Now you got OUS, which is more of a suffix. So these things fall in line along the same path. Now, let's do this. I'm telling chat to give me the Guardian Ward Doctrine and the Plenary Doctrine. Now, just know that we already made and established the fact that there is a trust doctrine that deals specifically with the indigenous peoples, the indigenous nations in the United States. That has been clearly presented here by ChatGPT without my leading it on. All right. But what we're going to do is we're going to go here, and I'm just going to share my own screen so I ain't got to keep bouncing out. Let's go share the whole screen. And let's go here. Let's go back to Black's Law Fourth. Let's minimize this a little bit, and let's go find India. First, we're going to find American. We're going to find American. We'll go like for another half an hour, 45 minutes. Nobody comes up. We're going to get up out of here. We're going to keep the waves open. Let somebody else take the gauntlet and keep it popping. And I got people waiting on me. All right, so here we go. All right. Now we know what American is based off of based on the 1828 Webster's Dictionary version. We got that. Now this says in law pertaining to the Western Hemisphere, or in a more restricted sense to the United States. Now what it says right here, restricted, a restricted sense, meaning that the United States of America, United States is operating in America and has been established in America. So they would like to say, well, in a restricted sense, you could call the United States America in that restricted sense. But the more important thing is the American is pertaining to the whole entire Western Hemisphere. Where does that start? Where does it end? Now, that's dealing with the atlas and dealing with, geography and all these different things, but that's what it says. So it says that the term American included all classes of citizens, native and naturalized. So we know that the 1790, or if you don't know, the 1790, the Naturalization Act was created. And the Naturalization Act dealt with white persons. Not white people, white persons. Okay, native, here's your native. But if you see native right there, it's in the lowercase n, not uppercase n. The uppercase n will make it a noun. The lowercase n will make it an adjective or some sort describing something. So you have native citizens and you have naturalized citizens. So in terms of being a native, that means that you're actually from that land, from that area. You're from that area. Naturalized citizens, meaning that you have been naturalized or been given citizenship through the United States. Because the 1790 Naturalization Act, and then you have the 1890 Amended Naturalization Act that deal with white persons. 1890 dealt with free white persons. So 1890, free white persons was brought into play based on these persons that was considered to be free or freed, meaning that prior to 1890, they was not free. That cannot apply to an American Indian or somebody native to America, because we're talking about an American here. Okay. Now, let's go to Indian. All right. So, so this says Indian country. So if we don't really see anything right here that's dealing with an individual. So now this is giving a lot more clarity or definition to what Indian was in Article 1, Section 2, Clause 3, right? India is not taxed. Okay, because it doesn't have Indian by itself. There's something after that. That means Indian is more of a collective. So you have Indian country, as the term is used in the federal statutes, is a country to which the Indians retain the right of use and occupancy. See, this is their definition. You remember how it was read out in that trust doctrine, how they was changing things around in these cases, in these Supreme Court cases, where they called us, they started saying dependent and all this stuff when they started getting a little bit more, getting their money up. So getting their money up and getting their participants and their members or citizens in the United States, they had to expand a little bit. And we said, okay, you keep doing your thing, you're still operating under trust. You know that, right? And we still own this land. We still have control. And you still got to pay rent. And you still have a fiduciary duty. Don't forget that. Okay, cool. So go ahead and cut us a check. We're going to move. And this is all 13 colonies still 13 colonies. The expansion within the 13 colonies. This is where you started getting these states being expanded upon. So this is where Georgia comes in, Tennessee comes in, Carolina, you got the Carolinas, you got Virginia, you got Alabama, you got still all these places but they're still considered to be connected to the 13 colonies. Now, so use and occupancy involving under certain restrictions, freedom of action and of enjoyment in their capacity as a distinct people. There you go, people. You'll never hear anything talking about a people outside of these Indians. And ceases to be such when their title is extinguished. unless by virtue of some reservation expressed at the time and clearly appearing. See, this is how they're utilizing it in case law, right? So it's actually recognizing something, but at the same time taken away at the same time where it could be impeded upon. This term does not necessarily import territory owned and occupied by Indians, but it means all those portions of the United States designated by this name in the legislation of Congress. See? Congress. So they're saying right here, this term does not necessarily import territory owned and occupied by Indians. You see what I'm saying? So if it was owned and occupied, see, first is occupancy, but then they're saying, well, not owned, not necessarily ones that's owned and occupied by Indians. But and I'm going to add something to it, but it only means those portions designated by this name in the legislation of Congress. So Congress is the only one doing this through their own legislation. This has nothing to do with actually what's real. So right here, you got Indian Depredations Act. You got to look into that. Indian Reservation, a part of public domain, a part of public domain, set aside by proper authority for use and occupation of tribes or tribes of Indians. So if these Native Americans that's trying to correlate themselves to Indians by American Indians, then they're part of the public domain. So, and it had to be done by proper authority for use and occupation, right? So a part of public domain set aside by proper authority for use and occupation of tribe or tribes of Indians. Indian title. Claim of Indian tribes of right because of immemorial occupancy. Now, we use that term all the time, immemorial. Been here since time immemorial. But see, this occupancy thing is something that is a term that is utilized to take you actually off the land and kind of alleviate or stress your, not alleviate, but kind of stress your right of ownership. That it gives you something that can be, how do I say it, that can be encroached upon. All right. So Indian tribe, a separate and distinct community or body of the Aboriginal Indian race of men found in the United States. Here's your 1828 definition. There it is. Indian tribe, a separate and distinct community or body of the Aboriginal Indian race of men found in the United States. But they're saying the United States. But remember, America, restrictfully, they could use United States, restricting the use of United States in regards to its connection to America and being called America. All right. Indians. Oh, okay, here we got one. I thought that would be first. Indians, the Aboriginal inhabitants of North America. So now you know what we have right here. So Indian tribe, I guess they're relating that to some type of terminology they're using within the United States by their rules, how they're saying it, tribe. Indians are Aboriginal inhabitants of North America. So here you go. So if we have that understanding, then we have a clear idea where we're at in regards to the positioning of the claim. Connect the dots. Let's connect the dots. Now let's do one more thing, right? Let's look up native. All right. Oh, there go naturalize. Naturalization. Let's deal with naturalization since we're here. The act of adopting a foreigner and clothing him with privileges of native citizen. Oh my goodness. Here we go. Naturalization Act. The act of adopting a foreigner and clothing him with the privileges of native citizen. So we just connected the dots here. American. Bam, we have that connection. Let me look at the chat real quick. What's the chat saying? Real quick. What y'all say about that? That's a good one right there. So now we know what's actually was going on at that time. You see what I'm saying? Know exactly what was going on at that time. And here's the definitions right here. Let's see what collective. This takes place where a government, by treaty or cession, acquires the whole or, okay, that T ain't there, acquires the whole or part of the territory of a foreign nation. And takes to itself the inhabitants thereof, clothing them with the rights of citizenship, either by the terms of the treaty or by subsequent legislation. It's the latter. That right there, that's complex right there. Naturalized confers citizenship upon an alien to make a foreigner the same in respect to rights and privileges as if he were a native citizen or subject. That could be flipped. You know what I'm saying, Nanya? That could be flipped a little bit. Naturalized citizen, one who, being an alien by birth, has received citizenship under the laws of the state or nation. Now let's see if we have a native here. All right, native. A natural born subject or citizen, a denizen by birth, one who owes his domicile or citizenship to the fact of his birth within the country referred to. The term may also include one born abroad if his parents were then citizens of the country and not permanently residing in foreign parts. The word natives, as used in Alien Enemy Act, refers to person's place of birth so that a person remains a native of country of his birth. though he has moved away therefrom. One who was born in Germany and later become a citizen of France was a native of Germany. All right. Okay. But if you see if it's a Native American, if we put Native American in that sentence, based on this definition, how can these Native Americans be the indigenous people? So we stay on the topic. We don't want to get into the words. My point of looking up Native is seeing if we can find a Native American, and it's nowhere here. We know what a native is, but if we have a Native American, then under the Alien Enemy Act refers to the person's place of birth, so that a person remains a native of country of his birth, though he has moved away therefrom. Native, natural born, subject or citizen, a denizen by birth, one who owes his domicile or citizenship to the fact of his birth within the country referred to. That doesn't mean you an American. So if you're a Native American, that means that you're a born subject of America, of the American. That's why I'm looking at these definitions here. I want to see what a denizen is. I don't know what that is. What is a denizen, y'all? Where is that? I ain't never heard that one before. Denizen. 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 There you go. Okay. In English law, a person who, being an alien born, has obtained ex donation regis letters patent to make him an English subject, a high and incommunicable branch of the royal prerogative. A denizen is in a kind of middle state between an alien and a natural born subject, and partakes of the status of both of these. Okay, so right here it says the term is used to signify a person who, being an alien by birth, obtained letters patent, making him an English subject. The king may deny but not naturalize a man, later requiring the consent of Parliament. The denizen becomes a British subject from the date of the letters, while a naturalized person is placed in a position equivalent to that of a natural born subject. In American law, there we go. A dweller, a stranger admitted to certain rights in a foreign country, or as one who lives habitually in a country but is not a native born citizen. One holding a middle state between an alien and a natural born subject. One who has some relation to the enemy nation, which is not lost by the alien's presence within the United States. Now, right here, I could make a claim that this is something that they're using against indigenous people. I'm thinking that you can use this denizen issue and this native issue against us, because I mean that's considered to be a vagrant if you're indigenous to a certain part and you come over to a place that you're foreign to. That thing can work both ways. You know what I mean? My bad, Naughty. I don't know how long you was up there, but I only could see one screen.
Yeah. I hear.
All right, so check
Man.
this
What's
out,
going
man.
on, blessed brothers? We listening. We just listening.
I appreciate y'all. All right,
That's
so
Taz right here, bless.
yeah, I hear you, Taz. Yep.
Yeah, we listening.
Aton, we have to look the earliest America before it was divided into three parts. Nate, you talking about in regards to the East, But west, north, south, three parts. Or you talking? Oh, you talking about north, south, Central America? Is that what you're saying? In the islands? Righteous, 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 right. What you make of that, Nadi? Taz? What y'all make of that?
All of them subjects, even your go back to the screen, bro.
All right, for sure. What you want me to go back to? What I was
The
sharing?
definitions, yeah.
You want me to go back to Denison?
Definitions.
Yeah, them
You gotta look at the
that was
definitions.
Denison. That was Denison.
Yeah, that was Denison.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Bring that back.
Uh, you want me to start from the top? There you go.
I want you to start for where it says um what is it called? It was right before native.
Oh,
Denison. In English, a person who's being an alien born has obtained an S. Donaton Regis letters patent to make him an English subject or high incommunicable branch of royal prerogative. Prerogative.
No, that's what.
Dentistry
I'm just saying.
is in a kind of middle state between alien and natural born subject. Natural born subject. Hmm. Partakes in the status of both of these. The term is all right. Go to the one that you was reading prior to the native.
which one? Okay, prior to the native.
Yeah, it was one you was reading prior to the native.
All right,
Which one was that?
because I went from. No, I was reading native.
Then you
Oh,
read one.
what are you talking about? Well, I read naturalized.
Yeah, naturalize a natural person or something like that. You read.
Yeah, natural. Yeah, naturalization. There we go.
Okay. The act of adopting a foreigner, clothing him with the privilege of native citizen. Collective naturalizations take place where the government, by treaty or secession, requires he hold or part of the territory of the foreign nation that takes itself, inhabitants thereof, clothing them right to citizenship, either by the terms of the treaty or by subsequent legislation. Naturalized, it confers citizenship upon an alien. Go down a little bit. Scroll down a little bit. To the next term.
All right, hold on. Yeah, come.
All right. Where it says natural person. Oh, so it's naturalized citizen. That's it. Okay, naturalized
Yeah.
citizen. Do is it one that says natural person? You have something in there that says natural person.
No, just says natural objects, natural premium, natural resource. No,
Go to that natural life. Go to that. What that says. The period of a person. existence, considering as continuing until terminated by physical dissolution or death occurring in the course of nature, used in contradistinction to the justice of artificial concept of life as what? Please wait. Hold up. What the fuck? Used in. Let me look up this word right. Let me look this word up.
Which one?
That contradistinction.
Oh yeah, that's like contradictions, like a
Dis-
different
distinction.
distinction from what it is. Course of nature using contradistinction to that juristic and artificial conception. So it's nature versus artificial or juristic. You know what I mean?
Oh, hold up. I'm for to get this goddamn definition on
Like
too.
contrast, not like contrast.
Con. Yeah, I understand that, but distinction is okay. Contradistinction. Distinction made by contrast that the different qualities of two things. Let me see. Distinction be made by contrasting the different qualities of the two. So natural life, distinction made by contrasting. So what would be the two things in contrast right here? Used in contradiction distinction to that juristic and artificial concept of life as and go up to the top what it says in the top. Go ahead, continue that word.
There you go. Aggregate.
Aggregate of legal rights or to possess of a legal personality, which could be terminated by civil death. That is the extinction of a personality which result from entering a monastery or being attained of treason or felony. People versus right. People versus right. 89, Michigan, 70, 50. Bro. Hold on. North, West, 7, 9, 2. Now that one,
What up, Nun?
meaning. Oh, nonetheless, up.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, what's up, non? Okay, based on this Michigan legal records, people versus right, I'm gonna have to read this case. Likely referring to a 1960 Court of Appeals case as a 1891 volume does not contain a major precedent by this name. Affirms that the jury instructed on insanity, which emphasized the mental unsoundness must affect the specific act in question to be valid or proper. Holy shit.
Uh huh.
Holy shit. The court found that the instructions closely following People versus the Free in 1886 regarding the defense of insanity are still valid, and that the defendant's mental illness must be directly linked to the criminal act. The case addressed a general affirms that when a defendant asserts inconsistent defenses, as we will be doing as the people, inconsistent defenses, because it'll be as you're proving that you're not the entity, and they're saying that you're the entity because they're coinciding a natural life in the same as legal abstracts versus the you see how I said contrasting the difference between the two, but in law there's no difference. There's no identification of a natural life outside of the legal term. So this is where it comes into a conflict where it's almost showing that a lot of these cases was won on the merits of claiming that an individual is mentally insane by trying to claim. I'm not just gonna. I'm gonna say from what I'm seeing, and from what I'm reading, and from the definition, by an individual trying to claim separatism from the natural to the legal, trying to make a separatism in that, and there isn't one.
That's why they claim insanity.
And that's what the fucking the jury was directed
Yup.
to be to follow the instructions found by the court. The court found that the instructions closely following Peoples versus the Free in the 1886 regarding the defense on insanity are still valid. Holy shit.
What is that?
This is off what we just read in this definition of a natural life. The definition of natural life. And it gave
Do black law or what?
no, what book this come out of?
This is Black Law 4.
Black Law 4.
Mm.
Holy shit.
Uh-huh.
They
You found
locking it
you.
they locking a nigga down before you can even using the word natural life or natural person or natural any fucking thing fucks you up in their court.
Yeah. All right, break that down. Break that down, Nutty.
I think you can use natural man. Look and see if there's one for natural man.
There isn't one.
There isn't one. So a lot of people that's standing on their square goes
Oh,
in
hold on.
court.
Hold on. Not none. You right there or what? Which one you want up? Okay, that one. That's the one you want up right there. You don't want this other one up, right? No. Nonetheless.
Yo, none.
Which one you want up? You want both of them up because you're moving around or what? Can't hear you. Can't hear
Yeah,
you.
I don't hear you. Do a mic check.
Yeah, he dropped back down.
Drop that other one. Drop that other one.
All right.
All right.
Yeah, I'll just kick both of them. Have them come back. All right, go ahead.
So a lot of people be using this terminology when they go into court. I stand as the natural living man or natural living boom 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 boom.
Right.
You can't say natural.
You can't use that.
You can't use natural. Never been natural.
I never say natural. I
Yeah,
don't.
never.
I
Living
don't use
man.
that.
I stand as a
Let's,
living man.
Yeah, that's what I
let's,
use.
Yeah,
Living
I
man.
stand as a living man. I don't say natural.
yeah. What about natural person? You know, that's a consumer term.
Anything natural.
Yeah.
Anything natural is going to be
You're
construed
in
under
your
their definition. You're in their
jurisdiction.
jurisdiction.
Yo, y'all hear me now?
Yep.
All right, good.
As a
Yeah,
living man, I can say that.
yo, I was chilling. I was like, damn, I was trying to wait to stop to call you because I ain't want to talk while I'm driving. I hate that shit. It be getting on my nerves.
You can always say
But
I stand as a private living man as well.
Hold
You
up,
know.
hold up.
you went in though, Aton. That's why I was listening. But I hate, man, you went down a rabbit hole with this one. But with the trust, now you gotta understand United States trust indenture. You got look that up too. I got that in my notes. But what y'all talking on right now, I got something that's going to fill in a lot of blanks. But this is in my notes, right? This is not something that you can easily find on the internet because I got like 10 years worth of notes, bro. So I can't really tell y'all where I got it from, but I do. You can find it, right?
Well, what we need to do then?
So,
Can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
yeah, I hear you. I hear you.
So what we need to do then? We just need to the next one we do because, like I said, I only do Monday through Thursday. So
Yeah.
what we do on Monday, y'all just need to just come right up. You know what I'm saying?
No, I got you. No, I got man. Look, I got
I
stuff.
forgot to tag you.
Look, hey, look, I got stuff, nigga. You ain't gonna have to worry about no information. Hey, Naughty, you ain't gonna have to worry about that, bro. I can give you this today and still have 1,000 more joints. But what
All right.
what I wanted to read was this. This is what I wanted to read because it's going along with y'all saying right here, right? All right, let's go right here because what you dealing with is what got them free, right? What got these people free over there in England was the substitute use, which was they used that to protect their rights and their sovereignty from the monarch. But what happened was the Vatican. That's when you went into the Pope. The Pope had the doctrine of discovery is in conjunction with the Substitute Vi Act, where he declared all of the people on the boats because of the Berbers as dead at sea until they came over to the New World, which is America, and they claimed life.
They called it America.
Right.
Facts.
You see what I'm saying? So now we're dealing. Right now we in a trust era. Right
But
now.
hold up,
Right.
hold up, hold
Go
up.
ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
You moving too fast. When they
I know.
came over, and claimed life,
Right.
they still was owed the
Yeah.
debt of the insurance for
That's
their
why.
travel and claim on the debt of sea.
I got you. Yeah, that's right. But look, all right, let me read this real quick. This is this in my notes, right? All right. Now I'm gonna read this real quick. The Substitute Trust is a public charitable in parentheses collective trust, or PCT. That is a constructive and not express. Constructive means that the trust is constructed, created, manufactured, concocted by operation of law, i.e., out of nothing, as just another of an unaccountable number of legal fictions, which is the entire system consists by with and fiat of those who own and the particular law form in which the trust is indentured or domiciled. In the case of the United States, this jurisdiction is the private, commercial, international, military jurisdiction of the original corporation, U.S. Inc., in 1871, within the 14th Amendment and the emergency war powers implemented at the advent of the Civil War that suspended law and terminated thereafter operations of the de jure government under the original charter, the 1787 Constitution. Let me continue.
Ooh.
Let me
Ooh.
let me continue. A citizen of the United States was created by / within the 14th Amendment, a corporation, civilly dead entity operating as co-trustee of the PCT. The 14th Amendment upholds the debt of the USA and the U.S. Inc. in Section 4 of the amendment, which states that the debt shall not be questioned. That is part of the terms and conditions of the co-trustee position. If you question the debt, you are in violation of your own congressional obligations, endeavors to find fault in the system, or any of those operations on behalf, or is considered as arguing against yourself, which every judge immediately dismissed as self-evident error. If you is or self-evident error, if not insanity. No wonder judges, it said I put in here, no wonder judges are found to order psychiatric evaluation for those who appear in court these days. It is presumed that everyone who states that he or she is a citizen of the United States, Inc., or acts as if were, is knowingly, intentionally, and voluntarily contracted into a private, military, international, commercial, admiralty, equity form of 14th Amendment PCT, which is public charitable trust, surrendered all rights and agreed to be bound and alleged resulting contract. One is now on a ship where the captain word is law and is trying to protect your rights, find the system in error, or walks off the job, is walking off the plank. I can keep going, but that's what we dealing with, bro. Because we looking at it from the lens of the 1787. And it's far deeper than that. Because why? After the Civil War, it went into bankruptcy. Y'all see what I'm saying? So now, since we're bankrupt, can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we hear you.
Okay. So what
Yep.
it's saying, so what Lincoln did was he said that no citizen can question the debt. So now it goes into a public charitable trust. If you punch that in, it's going to go to an Indian trust, right? It's attached to the Indian side, right? So now once you inside of that, you're acting as a co-trustee and a co-beneficiary, which means that you're in a constructive trust. When you go up in front of that judge, anybody, I don't care who listen to this, you can take this to your grave. If you go to a courtroom and you don't know trust law, you don't know that you're being put as the trustee and you're in violation, you are now being blamed for all of your rights. You gave them away, and that you're responsible for the debt. Your ass is getting fucking locked the fuck up. That's why everybody gets locked up, because you are a co-conspirator in the debt. It's no longer like it was before the Civil War. We're in debt. You're a debt. That's why when Nadi, me, you, everybody, coach, when we talk, bro, it's for a reason, bro. You have to understand what position you in. You got to be educated in this shit, bro. Anybody else that wants to disregard it, so what? You don't want to deal with it. I'm not talking about no frivolous little bullshit ass fucking police shit. You know what I mean? Getting pulled over. We talking about this shit. Yeah, go ahead.
I appreciate you bringing that out. And this is at the same time the remedy to this shit is importing the incorporated individual as the citizen. And you control the motherfucker.
Yes.
And whenever they want you to surrender it, go and surrender that birth certificate with it being authenticated to their bullshit. And they're going to run the fuck away and leave you the fuck alone. Because that's their citizen they're looking for.
Yes.
And you have it in control. Come on, bro. I've been telling these goddamn people for the longest how to operate in this fucking system, and they don't want to believe. They just want to. I don't understand, bro.
Yeah, bro.
It hurts me bad, bro. It hurts me so bad. And my brethren be telling me, hey, we need to go open up channels and do this and do that and make some money. I don't want they fucking money. It's bullshit, bro.
Yeah.
It's tying me back into
but his knowledge is straight, brother. His knowledge is straight. So it's like everybody wants his knowledge. Everybody texting him all day long. Like, no, bro, you don't know. You need donations, bro. I see your shit. I do your shit. Bro, I understand what you're talking about. But we can't be just doing that all the time, man. Everybody wants everything for free. No, you got to do your own research. And then when I hear y'all's research, he hears your research. we're gonna look at you like, okay, well, hold up, what about this? That's where we come in, and he has that. And so to me, I was like, why you give it? Great, you doing that for free if you want to, but nah, I see his letters, man. It's way too much. Like, oh God, dude. I said send it to me and I'll change your damn name, man. Come on, man. Can I get it for free? God, no, bro. Donations is important because it's too much work.
And
Everybody doing too much work, and I understand. I see everybody. Yeah, we know where we come from. We know what's going on maritime. We know what happened. Okay, well, let's talk about since we know this, then let's go ahead and start this. We need remedy. And let's go ahead and go with the remedy. We know what's going on. Let's go ahead and go with the remedy now. And if everybody wants it, then they gotta do it. They gotta do it either with us, help, whatever. But that's what I'm sitting here listening, waiting for the remedy. You're telling me all this. I know this. A lot of people know this. And those who don't know, well, then y'all need to catch up because you're all behind times. So now we need to talk about since we know this is what we're gonna do. And that is what I was sitting there waiting. I keep telling Naughty, like, man, I'm hearing all this, man. I ain't hearing no, let's do this. That's what I'm looking for. I want to see it on paper. I want to see it on here. Oh, okay, y'all doing, or we can say, nah, man, hold up, stand by. Don't do that. We ain't no lawyers. We ain't no attorneys. We ain't none of that. It's up to y'all to do that. But what we seen in paper, this is the remedy. We know what happened. Let's get the remedy going. Can we do that, please? That's all I'm asking.
All right, so that's good shit right there, Taz. All right, so I got charitable. If you guys can see the screen, I got the Sesticade Trust, charitable trust sitting right there, and this complete voluntary trust. I went straight to trust when none started talking about that. So we see a charitable trust. It says designed for the benefit of a class or the public generally. All right, so and then assess the K trust, the person for whose benefit a trust is created, or who is to enjoy the income or the avails of it. Okay, I'll tie that in nonetheless. What you're talking about?
Okay, well, the charitable trust. You see how it says the beneficiaries are uncertain at the end, right? So what it's saying, you gotta understand when you're dealing with uncertainty, right? You automatically should understand that it can be is under the philosophy or the principles of a constructive trust. So that's when you get these people that say, "Well, I don't have to do paperwork, right? I can just talk my way through it, right?" But you got to understand that these people are trained to run witchcraft and how to fuck your words up, where you are now putting yourself in their realm. You see what I'm saying? And one of their principles is superior man stays in his own domain. You feel me? Or their own realm. You see what I'm saying? So now they're going to cross you over and put you as being in fault of a breach of fiduciary duty. That's why it was important. Yo, I forgot what you said. On Aton, you hit on some a gem, and I forgot what you said, but it was on point like a mug, bro. But anyway, what I'm trying to point out is that when you were talking about fiduciary duty, you're looking at it like they have the fiduciary duty, which they did have the fiduciary duty. But when you're dealing with charitable trust, Sesticue trust is really Sesticue is beneficiary. That's dealing with really when I look at that, because that's French. You dealing with the Vatican and the white slaves that came over here. You feel me? That's their shit. But when you talk about charitable trust, you're talking about you hit on a point where they gifted certain land rights to the indentures and all that shit, right? So you're dealing with gifts. That's what charity means. We gifted them a partial, you could come on our land, boom, 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 you could do this, do that. But they created charters, whereas though they had commercial rights and they brought us into the commercial realm. You see what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So now we gave them something. They created something on our land and then brought us into it. You know what I mean? So now they have the rights. You know what I mean? Now complete voluntary trust, that's something I'm not familiar with, but what does it say? Benefits being named. Oh, that ain't nothing but a goddamn constructed trust then.
All right, so all right, so let me play this out. All
Yeah,
right, so
go ahead.
the courts operating in trust based on HJR
Right.
192, that
The
public trust,
principles of a trust, yeah.
yeah, they automatically are there. What
Right.
is the first thing to do once you come in? Now, this is you either coming in as a claimant, plaintiff, or you coming in as a defendant, respondent, depending on what jurisdiction you're in. How,
Man.
how are you able to establish that trust relationship?
Yo, that's why you do the paperwork, cause bro, they nigga, if you going in there and you don't have it already established, like Nadia is telling people to do, if you don't have your shit up, nigga, they gonna look at you like you a piece of dogs. They gonna be the dogs, and you gonna be a nice piece of fresh. They gonna eat your ass up, bro. They gonna eat you. All they do is get to talking on. You know how they hop on the line on the motherfucking on the panels is to get them running their mouth. Try that shit in the courts. Try it in there if you want to. They gonna eat your ass. That's why we say, nigga, write your stuff down, right? Write it down, submit it. That way you already established it already. You ain't gotta talk. The less, look, I'm gonna put it to you like this: the less talking you do, the better you are. The better you're gonna be when you in there. Because these mugs, they want you to argue and talk to them, bro, because they gonna flip your words on you. These are expert demons. People be thinking they dealing with just some regular people like that don't know about the esoteric qualifications and how to flip your mind. These people are master psychologists, bro. You go in there talking, you're gonna be screwed up. I'm telling you. There's no
Mhm.
way. You feel me? You got to learn. I don't care if you don't like it. Well, stay your ass out. Just stay your ass out of the course then. Don't go in there. I'm just telling people, don't go pay your shit. I'm there too. A lot of times I be like, it's easier for me to pay the shit, get away before I go. I ain't stupid. Don't be stupid. But when the shit hits the fan and you really want to protect your state, your family stuff, and you're really serious about it, you're gonna have to study. You're gonna have to do what we're telling you to do. If you don't do it, then don't do it. Let somebody else in your family do it. You know what I mean? That's how you establish it. But you establish it by stating who you are. You're the executor of the estate. Already have a trust indenture for my family estate right here. Here are the trustees. Here's our minutes of the trust. Here's the beneficiaries. They all have TCUs, which are trust certificate units. You know what I mean? According to the estate. You know what I'm saying? And once you have that established already, when you're talking about estate, you're talking even driving your vehicle sometimes can be a lot of times can be caught up in the estate, your businesses and all that stuff. But you have to establish that and then have your witnesses, whether it be a notary or whatever. You got to have all that stuff established when you're dealing with these people, because that's what they're doing right now. You know what I mean? We can see it. You've been talking about this whole bill, Aton, what they're doing, and it goes back to what, the 1600s, and we still not understanding that we all are going by trust policies. I mean, trust law, trust principles. Really? And I'm really not getting what's going on, because I'm watching some big time people talking about this trust shit, and I'm actually happy and I'm proud of these dudes, man, because they fucking getting it. Dane Calloway got a book out right now. It's $250. That's cheap. I highly suggest everybody get it. He talking about trust and how to do your shit. I was waiting for somebody to do it, and he finally did it. So if y'all think this is not what you need to pay attention to, then I don't know what to say. Shit, if these people understood what's going on with the reparations, if they understood trust, we wouldn't have no problems at all. No problem. I'll listen to Tariq Nasheed today, right? He talking about they've been talking about getting the reparations for 7 years. It shouldn't take that long. Y'all feel me? Y'all can hear me?
Yeah, yep, I hear you. But
Okay.
my brother still sitting over there. Oh, the rabbit, what? I said,
No, bro. No, you man, you. I understand what you're saying, bro. I just didn't hear that you, because you're supposed to notify wherever you go, bro. I mean, listen. If you travel, you know, you got to give notifications. Your notifications to
Yeah.
going in the court. If you have to go into a courtroom, but believe me, but he be talking some shit, man.
No,
I just want to.
you
I
gotta
like
have
what
your
you're
shit.
saying. Yeah, I believe you.
No, you gotta have no, yo, you gotta have your shit. But I'm just talking about the people that say you don't have to do none of this stuff that you just mentioned. That's what I'm talking about,
No,
bro.
no, no. You have. Yeah, you must have all
Yeah,
that in on
yeah,
record.
right. That's
Facts.
what I'm
That's all
saying.
on record.
Some,
Now
but they,
you meet somebody like me, all from the earth. You know,
just gonna talk that shit.
no, I'm gonna talk that shit for real because I don't do that shit. What y'all talking about? But I'm
no,
just
you
letting you know.
can,
I've been to courtrooms without all
man,
none of that. None of
man.
that shit. What y'all
But
talking
you,
about? I've been in the courtroom and they grabbed me. I said, "Oh, excuse me, sir, officer, sheriff. You know what's?" Or I'll say, what's the aggression? Why you got armed men's around me? Why you touching me? I've done. They touched me, and I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna let you know you know you got bonds. You got this that. Look." And they kicked me out the courtrooms. They did it
here,
3 times, and the second time they put me in a dungeon, bro. That dungeon, and the guy was in there for like 2 weeks in the dungeon. He was. I asked him what you in here for, and he said, probation violation. Oh, I said, oh, okay, you know, and I was like, all right, well, yeah, I'm just sitting here chilling, waiting for the courtroom to be over with. And they finally came and got me at 3 o'clock, like, and the judge told me, he started laughing at me. He goes, so you've been studying? That's what he said. He said, you've been studying. I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. He says, are we on record? And it's just, okay, for the record, this case is dismissed and kicked me out the courtroom. Had me escorted. Bro, I said, I don't know what you're talking about. Real talk. I mean, I understand paperwork. I understand. Believe me, I'm in with that. Believe me, my brother Nadi always tell me to do that. I'm doing all that. I'm starting to do that, but I was beyond all that. Me,
no,
I was
no,
just.
but
I keep telling him I ain't got shit. I'm
no, you got.
operating. I'm operating a company. I'm doing everything with no nothing.
This what I'm saying,
Believe me when I
bro.
tell you all this.
Look,
It's not
I
what you all
believe you.
think it is, but
Look, this
It
this what.
is though.
but
No,
it
but
is
this
now.
what I want you to
It's
say.
changed. Everything changed. It
Look,
really
bro.
did. It's
This is
harder than.
what
It's
you're
so
saying is
hard.
correct, bro. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, it's so hard now that I had to hire an attorney, which was my friend, and told him what was going on. And he said to me, "Hey, Taz, don't worry about it because he doesn't want you around." I said, "I know he don't want me around because he's about to get voted in and do other stuff, you know." I was like, "I know he don't want all that friction and all that. He don't want that, you know." So I left. I left, and I came back, and now that no, I'm back. Like all of a sudden, all this stuff is going around, doing all that. Well, come on, get out of here with all that.
Uh huh.
But there's a lot of stuff. I don't
Hmm.
do paperwork, but I know what I say. But I do know I do paperwork now because my brother's here with me, making sure everything's right. So yeah, no doubt. What you're saying is blessed, but in all the same time, I like to see resolutions. Remedies. Um, now we know what's going on. Let's move forward. Boom, boom, boom. Let's knock it on out. This is how we're gonna start it right here. First and foremost, we need to do this. We need to do this. We need to do this. Also, if y'all don't believe you all this, like you all been saying, you all been saying it. If you don't know your heritage or where you come from, all that stuff, bless you, right? If we don't know, but we do know. Now we know because of what you all did. Can we get first and foremost? We're gonna start this way. Let me hear that part because that's what my brother preached to me every second of the day.
Hey, bro. Look, I'm with you. You know why? Because I've been there. I've been there with you. With what you're saying, I've been there where I was like, man, you don't need no paper, all that shit. But one thing for sure is this: the people that I ran into that knows what they talking about, I can recognize that they know what they talking about, and I don't push back on them. You feel me? That's why Naughty fucks with me. You know what I mean? Like I don't take my relationship with him lightly. You know what I mean? Or Aton or these or Creek or none of these people because they can see that I know what I'm talking. And I'm actually studying, and I never push back on nothing they ever said. You know what I mean? And they 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 know this. You know what I mean? That's why they fuck with me. You know what I mean? Or anybody that knows about this law and that actually does it. But I'm getting to the point where I'm like, shit, I gotta do this paper. I gotta learn how to write this shit like them. You know what I mean? I gotta learn how to write. I gotta learn how to do submit my notices. I thought I didn't. At one point, I thought I didn't have to do that. I was on the same shit that everybody else is on. All I gotta do is know it and talk and think I can talk my way out of every situation when you got me front. But you want to know what? Is these courts they were like, oh, just like the judge told you, oh, you've been studying. And people always talk the bad shit, but they don't talk about the good shit when you be in front of lawyers or courts. They be like, oh, okay, man, you know your stuff, and they put up a conversation. They congratulate you on doing this shit, or they say, well, damn, most people don't know this. You know what I mean? That's good that you know this. Most people don't know. You know what I mean? But you're gonna have to get to that point where you got to do what you got to do and write it down and do your notes like they've been telling us to do, bro. I'm telling you, there's no way around it because you're going against a beast. And sometimes you can't talk. Sometimes you can't talk. Sometimes you can write better than you can talk. I look at Naughty like, damn, is this not like did he copy this shit? Like the fuck? Like this shit be fucking crazy. I still don't believe you did that shit, Naughty. But go ahead.
You
Go
don't
ahead.
believe what?
Yo, this shit, nigga,
Which paper?
you be sending me shit. I be like, yo, Naughty kids, yo, this shit be so fucking cold, bro. I be like, what the fuck?
No, man, that dude
Naughty,
calls
yo,
me
this
when he
shit,
gets locked up, bro,
yeah, bro,
and
Naughty like a,
writes
this shit
shit
is
up
like a
and
love
send to me.
letter.
He goes, look at what I just did right now, and like I don't believe that shit. What the hell
Yeah,
you talking
bro, it
about? You
be
did just that.
Naughty,
He goes,
yo,
no, man, look. He
it
takes
be
pictures. He
unfucking
don't send
believable.
you all. He don't
Yeah,
send you all shit like he does me.
I
You heard
know.
me?
I
But
know, but Naughty, your shit be
Yeah,
cold, bro. But it should be right. I'll be like, get the fuck out of here.
I know. I know, bro. I can
no,
write better than I can talk to
Yeah,
you.
that's
what's it saying
thank you,
earlier,
Naughty.
earlier,
That's
earlier?
what I'm saying. Some people can write better than they can talk. You
Yeah.
see what I'm saying?
You know what? Guess what, bro? I tell him that all the time. Like, we were talking about Moses and Aaron. Aaron could talk real good, but Moses couldn't. So Moses needed Aaron to talk and
Yeah.
speak. I
Yeah,
said, you
right,
know
right,
what?
right,
You need your Asian Filipino because you can't talk a shit. I have to translate shit.
right.
You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
yeah,
the shit be
you know what?
cold.
And that's true
I
though.
be like, yeah, bro. That's why I be
People can't
yo,
understand and translate.
the shit be on point, and I be like, yeah, this nigga on another level, bro. I be like, not on another level. People don't understand online,
No,
bro.
but in all reality, even go ahead.
No, go ahead. I was just saying,
No,
that was
in all
it.
reality, just because we speak the words what you're saying,
Right,
we all are responsible to double check the things we say. You know what I'm saying? Codes, where it come from, what you're saying. We're responsible for that. Always remember this. I mean, what we hear in the internet, what we hear going on, yeah, you all need to do research on that. Because if you don't see it for yourself,
right.
then there's something wrong with you. But when you hear it from Nadi, from
Yeah.
you, from anybody else, from
Mm-hmm.
me, don't take it for real. You need to do research and then say, is it real? That's what people need to understand. Because I'm hearing a lot of stuff and like, yo, you got to do research. Just be, Nadi's for real when he talks about it. Because I was sitting here, I be messing with him. Like I really cut his ass. I cut him down on live talk too. Like, no, man, show me this. Yeah, nah. And he'll show me and stuff. Like, nah, that ain't real. Like, look. Like, oh. And I said, look, and everybody wants that information from you. Don't be doing that shit, man, like that, man. That's a lot of work. I see what you're doing. I understand that because I do research like that. But you
Mm-hmm.
all do research. You all do research. But the family needs to like understand if you want that information, cool. But in the same time, we need to give the family remedy. We need we got the information where it came from. Now let's go ahead implement
and
remedy.
and I'm the fucking key. It's
There it
just
is.
Mm-hmm.
it's so fucking hard for the people to understand, and they take it for joke, and it's so fucked up.
I'm
I
tired
I
of hearing where we come
I
from.
don't I
I want to
don't
see
I don't
remedy.
right. I'm not. I, I don't want to seem to be Jesus or play that role, but bro, I got
Yeah.
the fucking
When
key.
it comes to
Yeah, bro, you
law,
do.
no, when it comes to law, he understands the reading of it. I understand that. I mean, there's a geniuses out there that can translate words and transfer it. But you can, like you said, Black Law Dictionary changed some words up just recently, and and Nadi sent it to me today while I was eating dinner. And he goes, "Look at this word," because I was telling him black means in Black Law Dictionary back in the day, recently, like not too long ago, means nothing. He goes, "Oh yeah, look at this. Black means what? They changed it, bro." I'm like, "Damn." Origin of Africa, all this other stuff. Like, but that's not what he said earlier. That's why I hate people saying Black Law Lives Matter. Because it was like, that's not nothing to me. What do you mean? You're saying nothing to me. Like, what the hell?
But it meaning now
Now,
you understand
now is Black Lives Matter is the
African.
yeah, descendant type stuff. I'm like, oh, look at you. You all changed it up when we already knew all that, but we had to go by your bylaws and shit, like what you all meant it. Yeah, man, it's
Mm-hmm.
Just like
bad.
natural person or natural life,
The natural.
natural life.
You gotta change it. You can't never use natural again.
You can't use it.
Now you can use black. Before you couldn't use black. Now you can use black. That's weird as hell to me.
Yeah, yeah, that is true. Now you can use the word black and it
Before you couldn't.
represents something.
You couldn't do it.
Yeah, before you could do it in law. Now
Nope.
it's there for
Yeah, you got to
recognition.
describe yourself. That's how you got to do it. You got to describe yourself as the flesh and blood, heart beating with the, I'm breathing through my lungs, man. You know what I mean?
But understand my all my brothers and my beloved. Although we do the process, do all this stuff, understand that
They still fight.
you gonna still fight,
You
and
still
they will
going.
fight
They
and
gonna fight.
win until you have to submit to a situation where you know what is right and what is wrong, and you will do it and still win. But in the same time, they're gonna crush you to the fullest.
Yeah, they
They're
gonna
gonna
put their
crush
heel.
you,
They gonna
man. I'm
put their
telling you,
heel on
it
you.
doesn't matter what we
But
do.
you
Mm-hmm.
just you got to
But as long as you have it
endure it.
in
Endurance.
yeah, as long as you have that, no matter what, they can't go after you at
Endurance
all.
on yourself. Like
Believe that.
you can't let them change you up. You got to
Yep.
know that what you're standing on is of
What it
fact
is.
of truth and of right, and you can't let them deter you. Because soon as you fall for one of their terminologies,
Yep.
you fall. You
Yeah.
fall.
Yeah.
So
And
good job on letting natural wake up because natural was used a lot. Now you cannot use natural.
Yeah.
You must be a living man.
yeah. Yeah, you gotta make that separation. That's the main thing, to make a separation from that fictional entity that they're trying to make you responsible for, and it's all
But
attached to a debt instrument. You feel me?
but only in a courtroom. Only. But
Yeah,
all
yeah, yeah,
courtrooms
yeah.
is administrated. So the way Nadi's doing it, he does it where he don't have to try to go to courtrooms, where I don't have to go to courtroom. But if I do, we know that we're safe anyway, whatever we say, period, because we got it all written down. You understand? But in the same time, they will all do tricks on us. And and that's what they did to me 3 times. When I say 3 times, they did it 3 times. Understand that, family. They did it.
Virgin only got so much time on this
Go
shit.
ahead, bro. Bless.
So we got to get to the some business. What we going in from here?
Hey,
What,
Jay,
Who
what,
he
what,
talking?
yeah,
Go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
yeah. Go ahead, Aton.
What's happening? What's happening? All right. Yeah, I was just letting y'all build.
No, no,
Okay,
go ahead,
so
brother.
all right, so
He talking on
really I
muted,
just
man.
opened
He
it
ain't
up
talking
what you
about
guys
nothing.
want to talk about, but how I presented it, I was talking about that fiduciary duty, right? A lot of people don't know what a
I
fiduciary
think
is.
it's almost. I got 3.5 hours on this live right now. I know he like to don't go over 4 hours.
Yeah, it's 3.5 right now, but what I'm no, I just muted up.
Oh,
You
okay,
know what I'm
okay, okay.
saying? But what
All
I'm
right.
what I'm saying is I know Nutty was we was on that native life, or what was it? Natural life.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
was I was I was on the natural life. I was on the native. Even
You
in
want to
the
get back to
identification.
that?
Well, I can just finish it up real quick.
All
Even
right,
on the
go ahead.
identification in Cornell's law and definition of a natural person or natural anything
Mhm.
is showing in legal term represented on a legal format. So it's not as an individual being birthed or living with a heart or living breath. Remember, we have to remember and we have to know that every aspect of the government's identity and who they deal with are fictitious entities. There's no living
Yeah.
man.
Right.
There's no living woman. When you go into the concept of thinking that these definitions and these terms is in this meaning, they're not. Not in no way, form, shape, or fashion. It's
They
all in a commercial
fiction.
aspect,
All fiction.
all fiction. So if
Yes.
you thinking you're affiliating something by you, we're playing this smart game by wanting to be
Mm-hmm.
part of this fictitious entity like it's benefiting we, is not. The only time it benefits you is when you control your own player.
Right.
All right, so Nutty. Okay, and talking about that, right? So the reason why I'm presenting it this way, because if people are actually wanting to claim reparations or restoration or repair and restore, you got to actually have a claim. Based on the definition, what Black's Law give, people that is talking what they having, talking what they're talking, and using the terminologies and the titles that they're using, do not have a claim. This is what I'm saying. Now,
What you're saying, not
yeah,
what you saw. Well,
this is based on the definition of repair and restore. You have to have ownership of something.
okay,
If you're a slave, you own nothing.
Hold on, hold on, hold
okay,
on, hold on.
okay.
All right,
If you're a slave,
Yeah.
you are property.
better. So where's your claim at?
You can't have a claim if you're a property. How can property have a claim over the master, over the creator? How can I build a table, claim that it's got some type of claim other than what I give it?
You ever seen that movie? There's a movie. What's that? Django. Look at that movie, bro. He said that slave is my property. That's what they did.
Yeah, yeah,
Yes, he did. And he
property
said that
under
property.
insurance
Yup.
as proper
That's my property.
as mortgage property. That's what all the chattel was identified as, bro. Mortgage property under policy, insurance policy. He was never identified as no living being.
Mm-mm. He
So
was my
so
property.
when you take on these terminologies and we try to identify, we're making mistakes. Again, go and watch this movie. It's called Player Player One or Player On. Player Player One.
Or grits.
No,
Okay.
Player One. It's Player One. It's a futuristic identity of one developing his own world and ruling his own world with the 3D
Oh,
in the um
Like a virtual reality.
virtual reality world, right?
Yeah.
No, when it's saying player one, you must control your own fucking player. When they went back to reality, they was all up under the system. Everyone was up under the system, but when they went on that game, they was player one. They was controlling themselves. They was controlling them avenue and controlling their. This is the game.
Jungle Lead and all the other games we
Right.
played.
We have to realize that you must come in control of your self entity and operate it in conjunctions as partnership and contractual with the United States.
All right, so this is my pushback, right? This is what I deal this is what I deal with in regards to how you could tie it in consumer law, natural person, and a living man or woman. Right? If I don't have full disclosure what I'm getting myself into, then that could be considered to be involuntary servitude. But even if it's voluntary servitude and I don't know the full details of where my beneficial interest is, because it has to be a contract because everything is contract law, then I have a claim. Let's get away from American Indian
Good,
shit. Let's
good,
just
good.
deal with the system as it is.
Let me reason with you right quick while you made that point a time.
Go ahead.
You used the birth certificate, you've used the social security number, you've used the entity that they created. Ignorance of contract law, trust law, criminal law, any law is not a fucking excuse because the information is public.
No,
Hold up. You don't have no fucking claim. You don't have nothing to use, bro, when you're trying to affiliate yourself under this construct. Because this construct tells you ignorance of the law is no excuse. So by you saying, "Oh, I wasn't in full disclosure," that's not their fault. It's in their public records. It's in the go and read it ain't my fault you don't know a driver's license is only for commerce only. It's in public. You go read it. It's available for you to go and read. I don't have to give you this. It's already given to
you
you.
have to do it.
It's already given in public. So if every time we think we're gonna be smart and try to be manipulative, they already got it covered, bro, because the information is there already.
Ignorance of the facts is an excuse. That's what I was trying to let my brother know. But
No, no, ignorance of the facts is not an excuse. Again, if I got a bag,
ignorance of the law is no excuse.
no,
Ignorance of facts
no,
is an
no, it's
excuse.
not, bro. I got a
All
bag.
right.
If I got a bag over here and you want to come take this bag and take it in your house,
You see how you fighting
you
me
don't
now?
know what
All
facts
right.
is in this bag. When you take this bag, you thinking there's $1 million. Cause I got 15 bags out here
All
with
right.
$1 million.
All right.
You pick one,
I'm just
go in
saying
your house, it's
what
full of
they
shit.
written down. That's what's just going by. You just talk about what their written laws, and you're talking about ignorance of the law, which is they wrote. Ignorance of the law is no excuse. But what I'm saying to you, they also wrote ignorance of the facts is no excuse.
Mm.
So the facts that we're getting, that's why he's saying, hey, yeah, we're gonna get the facts.
Oh yeah,
Now we got
ignorance of
remedy.
that fact.
Exactly what I'm
Yeah, you
saying,
ain't got
bro.
no excuse. Okay,
Okay.
okay, okay. Yeah,
God,
yeah, yeah.
no, bro.
Life up, life up, life up, life up.
That's
But yeah, yeah, that's true. We got to catch the grip. We got to come out of the ism schisms with them, bro.
they
We
changing
have
it
to
up.
come out of it.
Changing it a lot.
They can determine any point in time what to do with their property. They can give you a right, and they can take that right away just as fast as you blink your eye and put you in an imprisonment or an encampment because they're saying your seed or your genetics is afflicting the health of the world or the health of America by way of CDC.
Which they didn't get granted all that, but they still under
Yeah,
that
they
WHO control system.
they granted it. The CDC
Well, if
owns
they
the
no, yeah,
CDC owns
to
and
destroy
has a
all
trademark
sovereignty, all that stuff.
on every nationality,
Yeah,
race, creed, and identity of our existence status under status. They own all of that shit.
yeah.
So we got to understand what's going on, bro. There's too many variatives out there that we're fighting against that we can't allow ourselves to slip with the banana in the tailpipe shit.
Hey, Naughty.
Yeah.
I wrote something. I wrote a counter argument to ignorance of the law, no excuse. Just
You
yeah, look.
did?
Yep, I wrote a counter argument to it.
Go ahead. Go
All
ahead
right,
with
here
it,
it
man.
go. All right, here it go. Ignorance of the law is no excuse. However, even if your ignorance of the law that applies to you and or protects your rights according to who you are, that leaves no excuse for anyone or any entity to infringe upon the rights as applied in law. How you like that one?
That
I,
good job, bro. You absolutely right.
Yo, I
Hey,
went
hey,
there
bless, bro. Hey, look, you got
myself.
hey, that was a good one, bro. Cause
Yeah, bro.
anyone that reads that better understand that shit. If you're real,
Yeah,
if
nigga.
you're real, I got. Hey,
Yeah.
yo, say,
I'm
hey,
getting
look,
good.
that you should send that off every day. You on the ignorance of
Uh,
the law. You know what?
yeah,
That
bro.
should be your opening every time you speak, bro.
Uh-huh. That's my
Every
shit, nigga.
time you speak, I want everybody to know this is my my right here. I'm gonna read this. Y'all think about it
this is
then.
my disclaimer.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
that's a bro. That's a good one, bro.
Yeah,
As soon as you said it,
bro.
I started laughing
Thank you,
like
bro.
this
Thank you.
dude trying
Thank
to
you.
blast me, man.
Yeah, thank you, bro. Thank you.
Yeah, I got you, bro.
Yeah, but Aton, I hope you catching me, bro. I know you are a very intelligent man in
Yeah,
them
it's blessed.
CFR codes and
Yeah,
them
yep.
USC codes and them what was the other one?
No, he's very good at the ancient times too.
Yeah.
Where we come from. I understand that, brother. You ain't
Yeah, I
gonna let us
mean,
forget where we come from. Believe that.
no, 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 no. See, but this is the thing. I mean, what I'm also tying in is the fact that this is our shit.
Most
People want to
definitely.
go outside themselves and think they created all these codes and this commercial shit. We've been doing this shit for thousands of years. And the United States didn't have a
Right.
pot to piss in and a window to throw it out of until we saved their ass from the goddamn British.
Can I switch it up a little
Right.
bit, brother?
Go ahead.
Look, for all those who's listening and blessed everybody listening and doing their research, continuing doing that and bring it out to the talk, whatever, whatever. But let it be known to all those that waking up and those who knows already, we know what we have to do. And if I can help anyone, Get get your own land real quick. Get some food storages. Get some chickens. Get some rabbits. Get some everything. And if you get out the country, don't come back to the city. You heard me. This stuff is about to get real. It's already happening everywhere else because we know we are woke, but people are
Yeah,
just now waking up. They don't know what to do. Like they going crazy when they wake up.
look,
That's not the kind of crazy we're looking for.
look. This tax season, if you ain't got your money yet,
Yeah,
get your money. Go buy your ass from anything from a quarter to an acre
at
or
least an
more
acre of land.
of
An
land.
acre.
Well,
Yeah.
hold up.
No, I'm
The
telling you.
reason I'm not talking about living on it or none of this. I'm talking about putting yourself in a political status where you're not a deplorable, but seen as a king or queen on the land. When you're a landowner, you're identified by the United States as a king or a queen.
Right.
You must own you something affiliated to the land. If you're not doing that with your money, if you're not making just
Hmm.
one plot of land, not in no zonage, not in no city zonage, talking about a house and all of that. That's not
You gotta get the county,
you gotta get out.
get
You gotta
out,
get out.
and then you gotta do land
Purchase,
twos, lat
purchase
twos, and all
yep,
that stuff.
yep. Purchase you a piece of property and put it down in notification through the Secretary of State, do your UCC or however you want to do your notification. I'm not going to tell you because most of the people don't listen to me anyway on how to move like that.
Oh, quit saying that
But
shit.
but just make some type of notification about who you are, what you own, or
Bro, I ain't
what you
smoke your
have.
smooth, bro. If I don't mind.
That's all
No,
I
but
need to
what you were
tell you,
saying,
man.
brother, continue on. But I want everyone to hear, please continue on what were you saying. But I just want to say that everybody who's listening, even now, find you somewhere out the city and be on the county and handle yourself. Uh, I got 40 acres and I'm chilling. Uh, Nadi got his acres. We all good. But I'm gonna tell everybody else what y'all finding out, what y'all knowing now. Yeah, it's great, but I need y'all out the city. So get out the city. I'm just letting y'all know now. Let's get some chickens going. We know what's going on. We know where we come from. Now the remedy starts. But while we're doing the remedy, we need to stack up. Let's stack up. Believe me. Stack up. Y'all better stack up. I'm telling you that.
Leave these people money alone.
Mhm. Leave them alone.
Leave them alone.
As long as they leaving us alone, we good. We got our stuff together.
You ain't gotta be taxed.
Yup.
None of that shit.
We good, man. Like they gonna leave your butt alone. Get your stuff. Get you some chickens. Get you some goats. I love fishing. I love seeing my goats hump each other. I do all that, man. I got chickens. I got it, and I know the law. I'm like, let's go. And I see my brother, and we talk, and we listen to all of y'all. Like, oh, it's awesome. But none of y'all is telling us remedy, and not even like, yo, we got this land. We got yeah. Everybody get your land. And if you don't got it, and you're real, your bloodline, you everything, what's up? We're gonna protect you. Come to the land. You're gonna be safe. Time to get going, guys.
Yep.
It's kind
It's
of almost
time.
gonna be late on their ass, bro.
Y'all, it's not
Is
too
not
much longer now, guys. I'm telling
Trump
you.
is not playing.
And I don't care about no political. No, it's not
It
about
ain't
that,
about
bro. I'm
political.
telling you, man.
It's about listen. The man just shut off all the goddamn trade.
Get some land,
The
family.
man just shut down where shit
Every
should have
every
been
store you all eating your food, they're
three,
killing us.
three,
Go
four times,
natural.
three,
Do
four
what you got to
times.
do. I'm telling you all this. My brother talking all this. No, I'm telling you all. Go natural. What he say?
Nah, they asking me to sign some documents for some more money. Hey, Trump just made all the motherfucking merchandise in the world go up threefold.
Man, look. All materials for construction is gonna go sky high. Um, Everything, food, is gonna take $27,000 for 3, 4 family household to eat each month, and they're canceling out all grocery stores. Understand?
Yep.
And they're poisoning it. So stop it, guys. Go to the Whole Food, family, all that stuff, farm stuff, and get your own stuff.
Gonna get some
We've
seeds.
been doing this,
Get some seeds.
man. You better get some bunch of seeds. We know what's going on.
Hey, yo, I'm gonna
This
hop
is the
off.
remedy. I'm giving you all the
I
remedy.
gotta make this phone call. But good, y'all talking. Y'all holler at y'all in a minute. I'm still gonna be listening though. I gotta make this phone call.
All right, big bro.
All
Get
right,
the
big
remedy,
bro.
All
All
right,
right,
guys.
Aton.
nonetheless.
Appreciate you, bro. All right, thank
Oh
you.
yeah.
Yes, man.
All
Thank you
right,
so
all right,
much. We
Taz.
can love you, man. Continue on.
Thank you, bro.
But if those who are
Much love.
listening,
Yep.
we're telling you as a family. I don't know how many you all are. Get your land. Get yourself together. If you don't notice what's going on in your own city, what they're doing to these factories and grocery stores, it's because America or classified Americans forgot where they come from. We used to do everything on our own. And I tell my brother, look, I got land, I got all that. Man, look, he tells me he got land. Oh, okay, you do too. Oh, okay. This is what I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? So you all need to be doing the same thing. Get yourself together. This is the remedy. Get yourself away from everything. Away from the cities, away from
Municipality.
municipalities, all that shit. Get away from it. If you got to go through it, let them know. Notice I'm coming through, yo. That's how it is. But again, we need to be getting ourselves together. We don't rely on no grocery stores. We don't rely on nothing. Nothing. We are ourselves. We was created to do this. Let's do it. We're doing it.
Hey, Aton,
Yep.
I read today, bro, that motherfucking candles has
Mhm.
a high content of arsenic in it.
I told them, if you look at your walls, if you burning that, go wipe it off. It turns black. And y'all didn't know that. That's why I don't ever let nobody burn candles in my house. It has to be natural. Everything natural.
Candles, like
Oils and
just
sage and all
just
that.
just think about what I'm saying. Like lights go out, you gotta go fleeing down. When they shut off the lights or big storm, you gotta go fleeing down to the place and get you some candles for a week for your house to have light.
So get some Crisco oil.
So look how that shit is.
Yeah, man, you gotta make your own stuff.
Killing you. They killing you. Shut off your lights and make you go buy them candle to kill
Air
you.
conditioners, all that stuff, man.
Yeah, ACs, all of that.
I mean, everybody enjoys the cold heat, cold air too. Yeah, no doubt. If you was in a house, but
That,
I stay out in the land. Like I got tents, stuff, and I enjoy the air, and that stuff doesn't bother me. But when I go into the apartment and the AC is on, man, I go cuckoo up and oh hell no. No, you got y'all. If y'all want remedy, you understand what he's talking about, what happened to us is great, okay, fine. It's not cool, whatever, whatever. Now we're gonna show you all the remedy. Get you some land and start setting up, and then also we're gonna start the paperwork. This is how we're gonna do it. That's how it works, man. And everybody needs to do it because you gotta have it. Because I never do it because I'm beyond all that. Yeah, I don't do using seeds. I don't do none of that. I just go in there and be done with it. But yeah, they'll kick your ass. They'll lock. Matter of fact, they locked me up till 3:45 one time. They kicked my ass out of courtroom and locked my ass up in a dungeon, man, till 3:45. No food, no lunch, no nothing, man, and froze my ass off, bruh. Yeah, they did
with
that to
that
me.
AC.
And then they came and got me, and the judge started. When I walked in, he was laughing and shit like that, like he was cool. Yeah, he did the same shit all over again. State your name, all that. Well, man, what? And when he
Oh,
realized that I understood what he was talking about, he was like, "Yo, this is dismissed." I was like, "Okay, for the record, we're dismissed, right?" And then before he said, "Yeah, you're free to go," I said, "Okay, well, just let y'all know I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna walk out." It would, I mean, I was saying all kinds of stuff to get out of there. Because if you walk out and he stops you and he tells you, let's say he say you're free to go, this case is dismissed, and you're walking out of his courtroom or whatever he says, he says stop. You gotta be real careful when he say stop. It tells you like take your hat off while you're walking out my courtroom, whatever, whatever, and you do it without no rebuttal. Oh my God, he gonna lock your butt up again. I made that mistake one time. Yup, yup.
yep.
So be
All
real
right,
careful,
yo.
people.
All right.
All right, I'm at my 4 hour mark. Appreciate y'all coming up here. We're running back on Monday.
Yeah, I can get your land back. Yeah, I can discharge your debt. You gotta live by 5 principles before we just connect. Cause you could pose as my friend and then really be the threat. Like Brutus the Julius to them dudes that killed Malcolm X. Get your hand out of my pocket! Get your hand out of my pocket, nigga! Get your hand out of my pocket! Get your hand out! Brother, please. Y'all think getting remedies important. We make your lawyers lose their indemnity insurance. King Chameleon, private, I don't wanna be popular. Grandpapa, Hulk Papa, Mama Black Mafia. Yeah, we them big owners holding rank. You call Rocket Lawyer, I call the owner of the bank. He in the private at the temple, like Ginobili in the paint. And we got 3 militaries, we might be rolling in some tanks. While you balancing with a check gross, going to work for debt notes. Overtime all your life paying mortgages, then you left broke. Damn. Shout out to Mayweather, who's obviously woke. He settled $18 million with a promissory note. I'm not your corporation's chattel, this world gotta be be a joke. Blindly in the blind, so we never gonna see.
But I tell you what, I don't know about you, but I'm going to go to bed.
Everybody fake woke while the president is asleep. So I introvert myself, cause it's evident to me. No one saves us but us. Buddha said it in BC. No title, deeds are just reference the evidence to me. Man, you don't own it, you a tenant and it says it on your deed. You said with a sign, but didn't take the time to even read. There's gotta be an idiocracy. They call you crazy as Kanye, just for thinking logically. 2 million nationals backing us to stop who ain't stopping me. For instance, when Columbus came over here, they admitted Native Americans was already there. But if our kids take a test on who discovered land we on, and you say Native Americans, you get the question wrong. Don't lie to us, you were just a colonist. Can't hide the truth, we got all the proof from the anthropologists. We know the system now, it's time to get up out of it. But it's our fault, cause we fought so hard to be a part of it.
I will never say that progress is being made. If you stick a knife in my back 9 inches and pull it out 6 inches, there's no progress. You pull it all the way out, that's not progress. The progress is healing the wound that's the blow made. And they haven't even begun to pull a knife out, much less try and heal the wound. They won't even admit the knife is there.
All people trying to burn us, out and selling services with disclaimers, saying that it ain't for legal purposes. No cash, broke ass, internet burglars with temporary schemes and a lot of fraudulent dreams. Yeah, we got our own embassy, we got our own consulate, foreign administrations, and 3 armies on top of it. We live by 5 principles, but we'll die for this. Freedom back to the people, protect them from the apocalypse. I took that title that they gave me and I clouded it. That's what you say, says the Cuban. I got a bond with this. My way of thinking pissed the military off. I ain't with their way of thinking, Roman military law. We coming peaceful outside the mosque and the cathedral, and we'll resort to violence. I gotta protect my people. They call us ghetto, they call us thugs. The only God they worship, guns, oil, and drugs. I'm on the block, Martin Luther King was shot, holding a gun that killed Kennedy, trying to find a remedy. You can't cancel me nor censor me with chancery and sensory, God-like energy to infinity. My actions are my testament. I got a lot of questioning. How Ben Frank was on 100 but was never president. You broke, you go to jail. You got money, you get right out. They lock you up for drugs, but they got coke in the White House.